Hey, what's up? Cody Bugan here. How do you do ninja land deals? Well, today I'm about to show you what you need to know and what a ninja land deal even is. Come on with me. What is a land deal ninja? Good question. Here's what I can tell you it's not. It's not doing what everybody else is doing with land. It's you understanding a business model, which happens to be raw land that has development potential. You understanding that and knowing how to execute on that business model, that's what's going to make you a ninja. What is a ninja land dealer's skill set? You might think it's risk analysis, it's clear vision and scope, and it's capital acquisition. Can I just give you a little insight? That doesn't make you a ninja. That's basic when it comes to playing in real estate. What's going to make you a ninja again is operating in a business model that not everybody and their family and their mother is playing in. That's what I'm here to talk about today. Getting into a true ninja model and being a ninja in that space because you understand it. All right, but before I get into my ninja model and being a ninja in that space, and I am going to get into that later in this video, we do need to talk about the basics. One of those being risk analysis. Question, can you increase your ROI by putting in more time, money, and effort? Of course, everybody would say you could. Right? But what about ROE, return on effort? See, the way you see a high ROE is by having a deep understanding of your model and your market and your exit strategy and so on and so forth. It's a deep understanding, it's that education. That's how you see the highest ROE to where you don't waste your time stumbling over things you don't need to deal with. Well, the next was clear vision and scope. So you need to have a clear vision and a scope for what you're going to handle related to any type of real estate business model. In particular, my business model, these are the steps, right? Prospecting, land acquisition, feasibility study, land use approval, construction drawing approval. Maybe you're going to handle one of those or all of those. I don't know. But you need to get educated so that you don't make unnecessary mistakes. These are the steps you need to understand related to your vision and scope in our ninja business model. Next of the basics was the capital acquisition. You better not get into real estate and try to complete successful real estate transactions without knowing where is the capital going to come from. These deals do require capital. Now, don't get me wrong, my model doesn't require a ton of capital, but it still does require capital. So where is it coming from? Here's some of the things we teach our students and that they're actually executing on. It could come from, well, you don't even need capital. You flip your contract. You already brought value because you went and did off-market prospecting, got it under contract, and then turned it over to your future buyer, right? Well, it's not even a buyer. You just assign them the deal. Or it could be self-funded, the buyer funded. That's a beautiful strategy. In our model, what you can do is you can go and get the land under contract. You can take it through the approval process we talked about a moment ago, land use approval. But guess what? Instead of you bringing in an investor or your own money or friends and family money, your buyer will put up the capital to fund the process. Next, just as I said a second ago, would be personal connections, family and friends, or joint ventures equity partners. Here's what I know. In any good real estate deal or transaction or opportunity, if it's truly a solid deal, you will be able to go find the capital through joint ventures or equity partners. All right, so as we start getting into discussing my actual ninja business model a little bit, I put a quick example up here. Let's say I'm looking at 20 acres outside of Dallas, right? And that 20 acres is going to yield me, I don't know, approximately 80 lots, all right? And to get that deal through what's called the land use approval process, remember, so that means I've prospected it, I've got it under contract, I've gotten it through feasibility, and now I'm going to get it through the land use approval process, which is really where the value add is. It's going to take me 150 grand cash to get us there, all right? Well, as we think about that, here's some of the questions to consider. Well, when am I exiting the deal? Remember, when you exit a deal versus when you get paid on a deal are two different things. They might happen at the same time, they might not, which leads to my next question. Well, you might exit at one point, and when are you going to get paid? Is it going to be at the same time or at a different point? And then lastly, where's the capital coming from? These are some of the questions you really need to consider. So getting into that example deal, okay, we need to figure out when am I exiting, when am I getting paid, And where the heck is the capital coming from? All right? In this scenario, I'm saying you're exiting the deal after the feasibility study. All right? So that means that you went and prospected the land. You got the land under contract, right? You did the acquisition. You got control of the land. And you're going to run the feasibility study. After that feasibility study, you're going to exit out of the deal. All right? And what I mean by exiting out of the deal, I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm trying to communicate. It means that you're going to let your buyer take over the process from there. It doesn't mean you're going to assign your contract to your buyer. It just means you're going to let them take lead. All right? So you're going to let them take lead after the feasibility study. But instead of you taking your payday at feasibility study, you've agreed to wait for your payday until land use approval, which is very, very key, because it might mean that if you taking your payday here versus land use approval, your payday might be 10x because you're willing to wait until they get the land use approval before they pay you. And more than likely, there's a good chance that's also when they're going to close on the land. And then finally, well, where's the capital coming from? In this scenario, more than likely, because you've agreed to take it through the feasibility study, and let's say that that feasibility study, if you recall, we said this deal takes about $150,000 capital to get through land use approval. So in that scenario, I'm saying the feasibility study is about 15 grand, and you are going to self-fund that. The other 135 grand, I love this strategy so much. That other 135 grand, the buyer's gonna fund. They're gonna take lead and they're gonna fund it, okay? So you don't need to bring in a joint venture partner. You don't need to tap on friends and family. You don't need to do anything other than, well, your buyer's going to fund the deal. So guess what? In that scenario, you don't have to split your profits, your payday with anybody, because your buyer's going to fund the majority of the capital needed. This is a beautiful strategy right here for a lot of our students. All right, so I've gotten into all these details related to my Ninja business model, but what is this business model? Well, this business model is learning and mastering how to go find off-market raw land. Let me say again, off-market raw land that has development potential. So not just any type of raw land that has development potential. The reason it is so ninja, one, is because very few people, I guarantee I'm probably the first person you've ever heard talk about this business model. And all the value add, the way you make real money in real estate is in a value add model, right? And a value add model is all about how do I increase the value of the asset? Well, the way you increase the value of the asset related to raw land is it has to have that development potential. When I take a piece of raw land and I turn it into an approved development, I have brought so much value. And you know what? We earn those paydays. It is so much different than, say, something like wholesaling, okay? We are there to bring value to that asset. So, can I tell you this? Don't do this at home. Isn't that like a quote saying? What I'm saying is, don't just venture in and try to do this without the appropriate education. You will make so many unnecessary mistakes and potentially get yourself in some hot water. You need to get educated. You need to learn. Education is power. This is exactly why, and I'm not here to pitch you, but you need to learn more about my education company called VestRight. I started this company to make a difference and to have an impact and to teach others exactly what it is that I do. So if you want to learn more about my Ninja business model, you have to check out VestRight. Just take a few minutes, go learn more about it, and you can do that by clicking the link below. All right, well, thanks so much for watching. And I tell you what, if you want to learn more about how we make these substantial paydays doing the type of land deals we do, you have to check out the land deal calculator, and I'll see you on the next one.